Here we are.
Here we are. What
We
up?
did it.
Hello.
Bianca, what the hell's going on?
Oh, hey. Hey guys, perfect timing. Look at that.
Oh, who's that?
Visitor.
Hey.
Who is that?
That is my TikTok famous cat, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
He is a 22-pound ginger
Chonk.
and he has thumbs. If you've never seen a cat with thumbs, he is polydactyl.
Holy shit, this is the craziest
All right.
thing.
We may have just derailed this entire episode. This is just going to be a cat episode now, probably.
He does do better than me on the influencing front. He has, I think, almost 100,000 followers on TikTok. So
Go
No
off, kitty.
shit. All right.
yeah,
Go
he
off,
is a
Tennessee.
monster.
Well, we'll use him to usher in welcoming back to the Long and Thick podcast. I'm pretty sure Tennessee satisfies both long and thick, so it's perfect.
1,000%.
All right. Well, we're here with Bianca Vesco. She is a fitness professional, and with that includes a lot of smaller roles underneath that umbrella. She's an independent personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, a fitness consultant, and a Wilhelmina fitness model.
So much fitness
It's a
in
lot.
there.
It's a lot going on.
Boom.
All
Yes.
right. So what the hell is up? What's going on?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's another Sunday in the life of Coach B. I taught 2 classes today. I took one, just kind of like getting ready for the week, excited to be here with you guys.
Dope. Well, thank you for
Love
making the
it.
time.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you so much.
of course, of course.
This is
So,
our formal meeting, too.
Sure. Yeah, you guys have never
I know.
met.
I
Kick us off.
feel a little pressure, honestly, to like
No,
impress you
no.
and like say the right things. I watch you and I love, how educated and eloquent and just like so awesome that you guys are. And I love the way that you approach fitness and movement and just being a human. And so it's a privilege to be here.
Thank you,
Oh,
Bianca.
That means
That's
a
amazing
lot.
to say.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
thank you. Can you tell me and our listeners about some of your own fitness journey? It sounds like it's just extremely ingrained in you. It's all of the things that you do in some way, shape, or form. So, like, can you walk us through some of your history, like behind that?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'll try to keep this short. I have been in fitness over a decade. I'm from Ohio, from Columbus, Ohio. Shout out Buckeyes.
Whoa.
But I moved to New York City when I was 18 to pursue music. And I studied music in college, actually. So I studied musical theater, and when I graduated, I was a music therapist for a long time. So I worked with adults with cerebral palsy and Down syndrome, and I speak sign.
Hey.
Yeah, and I was 22 years old, and I was like, I'm going to change the world with love and music, and everybody I worked with was like, yeah, okay. Sure. So long story short, I started working for Lululemon part-time on the side, and that like introduced me into the New York City group fitness scene, which was unlike anything I'd ever I needed community. I needed a feeling of belonging. I needed a purpose. And Lululemon is one of the most incredible, and I will preach Lululemon till the day that I die. When you get hired there, they sit you down, they go workshop with you, they support you in everything. They paid for my training cert, they set me up with a mentor, and I literally hit the ground running. I begged my favorite boutique studio in New York City for an audition, which they would typically not allow anybody without at least 2 years of experience. And I was like, please just give me the microphone. I can do this. And then it was history. No, just kidding. I got hired at a boutique fitness gym where I taught HIIT, TRX, kettlebells, sports and conditioning, functional lifting, everything that I could essentially learn and get my hands on. I am someone that if I'm going to do something, I'm doing it with my whole ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm diving in. I want to learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can. I want to see as many bodies as I can, learn as many modalities. And then I went on to teach Legree, which is Megaformer Pilates. And then within that realm, I met someone that was working at a gym, a high-profile gym, and I'm not going to give them any more airtime than they need, so I will not say that name, but I was super young, and I came in as one of their only female trainers that had any sort of like experience under her belt, and I built out programming. I trained all the new trainers. I went on to teach boxing and jump rope, and it was a pretty celebrity-heavy gym. I trained a lot of the Victoria's Secret models and a lot of singers, and that was never really, it was a very big social media game, and I was working and being paid pennies for so much of my intellectual property that it got to a point where, you know, I sat down with the owner and I'm like, hey man, I'm literally giving you everything that I have. And I'm so-and-so is 18 years old from the front desk and making the same amount of money as me. And like, I've written every program here. And they were like, yeah, you're right. Like, we'll figure it out. And they fired me the next day and said, don't come back.
Well, they got what they needed, unfortunately. Unreal.
Unfortunately. Well, I had that aha moment of like, holy shit, I've put in so much time, so much, again, intelligence, and like, it just was such an unhealthy environment. But lucky for me, I walked with like 20 clients.
Hey.
There you go.
So that is how my independent personal training business was born. And I have had those same 20 clients for like 10 years. And so this was in New York at the time. And I, you know, bounced around from house to house, whatever. And then when COVID hit, it was like, I was ready to lose everything. And as someone who is independent, like, I'm a self-employed, there's no money, there's no severance, there's no PTO, there's no, and I just thank God for my clients. Everybody went virtual and I moved back home to Ohio and I was teaching the same classes that I teach on Saturday mornings out of my mom's garage. We had upwards of like 200 people every Saturday morning. And like,
dang,
it was insane. And I used to teach on Saturdays every Saturday for like 8 years. So my community or my crew was called Satterbays because I am a hype bay. You see where we're going with all this, you know? So that was really awesome. And then we moved to Nashville and I worked for Oprah for a little bit on an app called Digital 360 where we had, you know, a few 100,000 people. And it was essentially like an Instagram coaching kind of model, which was really, really awesome. And I found, you know, another stream of income, but I missed group fitness. I wanted to be a part of a community again. And it took me a really, really long time to find that in Nashville. So fast forward. I was still personal training. It was really hard for me to start getting in-person clients because I do charge on the higher end. I am a higher caliber of trainer. I think when I came in 2020, there wasn't a super high mark for fitness and people heard my pricing and they were like, oh my God, I paid a quarter of that. I'm like, well, we're not the same, you know? So fast forward, whatever. I got my 200-hour vinyasa certification, which is the very last kind of enveloping, you know, yoga was always a very sacred place for me. And I thought if I learned to teach it, that I would get burnt out on it like I did every other modality. But yoga has been so incredibly expansive and I will never stop learning. So since then, I have now today is actually my 1-year anniversary of teaching at Fahrenheit on 12 South.
Dope.
Congrats.
So thank you so much. So I do that now. So, full-time personal training business, I probably do like 15 to 20 virtuals and then 10 to 15 in person. Teaching group fitness, Wilhelmina, I just shot a huge Lululemon campaign that should be out like within the next month. So you'll see my face like on the website and in the ads and commercials, whatever. And then fitness consulting, I'm kind of like a secret shopper. I go in and audit when big box gyms have trouble filling their classes. I go in like as the member and like have the experience of like, okay, well, the booking system isn't great, or this front desk person could have been more informed, or so that's also a really fun job for me because I love finding solutions.
Sure.
I am a problem solver.
Yeah. And clearly the customer experience also is very important to you as a practitioner yourself.
Yes. I mean, I genuinely, at the end of the day, I am I allowed to curse on here?
Oh, let it rip.
Okay, great. I fucking love people and I love teaching. And, you know, I say this to my clients as much as it pains me. My goal is not for them to need me forever. And like group fitness and that atmosphere of just community and camaraderie and like cheering people on is something that like really fucking gets me going. So any outlet I have to bring people together and elevate them is what keeps my lights on.
That's dope.
So that was that 5-minute explanation.
No, that's great. We're going to dive even deeper though. So it's quite a journey getting here. Do you feel like any of those chapters are like those lily pad points? Do you wish some of them were shorter to get to this point? And conversely, do you wish you would have lived in some of them a little bit longer?
I mean, I think that we can all play the coulda, shoulda, woulda game, but I am very much someone that like, I do not live my life with regrets. And like, was I in some shitty situation? Sure. But did they teach me the most valuable lessons I've ever learned in my life?
Yeah.
Sure, times 100. So no, I would not change a thing.
Dope.
I'm still just like, rattling through the list of things you said, just like, holy shit. Like I am genuinely just very impressed by all of the things. So you should be proud of yourself because
Wow.
fuck,
Mhm.
that is a
Yeah.
awesome list of accolades. But I could tell too that it's not coming from this like I trained blah 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 and like I'm so fucking cool. You're like, yeah, I did the big stuff. I've seen like people that everyone knows their name and like you're so far above that on the other side of it. So you didn't get like lost in the headlights and starry shit. And so
Yeah,
I'm
thank
just
you.
sort of soaking it all in. So
Yeah.
forgive me if I'm a little like
No. That's so sweet. Let me sing you my favorite song. I'm a hustler, baby. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's
I could
She
tell.
can't leave the musical theater behind. How much did
Right.
that get sprinkled into your classwork?
Yeah, well, I do sing talk a little bit, but I think New York has a huge piece of that. You know, New York was the
Mhm.
city that makes or breaks you. And I moved to New York City when I was 18 years old. And it was like, okay, you're going to figure it out one way or another, sister. You're going back to Ohio. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, New York gave me that opportunity. And I literally have chills thinking about it. Like I took that shit and I ran as fast and as hard as I could. And did I hit a few walls that knocked me the fuck down? Of course. But now, and I appreciate that compliment so much because, you know, I'm 34 years old and people are like, like, what do you mean you have this career? You've already done this much. I'm like, I lived in New York. I moved to New York when I was 18. I grew up as an adult in New York City. And like, again, that place, like, I don't know that, you know, no offense to Nashville, we love living here. I would not have been given the resources or the exposure or the mentorship
No.
or be able to charge as much money as I charge without putting in that much time and that much effort and that much energy. And also the thing about New York is like, there's no fake, there's no phony. Like you actually have to be the best at what you do or you stand no chance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, really drove like, okay, if I am going to do this, I have to be the best. There's no question.
Damn. Yeah. That is so real.
Yeah.
New York has a way of like just accelerating every single aspect of everything. It feels like you've lived like 10 lives if you have a career there. So I get it.
Yes.
And all the things that you listed, there's so many like pieces and different like divides between boxing and different specialties and things like that. What and you just you had mentioned like the sacred place that yoga holds for you. Like what are some of the things in there that are like the most important? You mentioned the group classes, like the energy that people get with each other and those types of things. But for you personally, in your own experience with them and movement and training, like what is like the thing you still want to dive into more and understand better, if anything?
Wow, that's an incredible question. Very loaded question. I think like to my core, I am a functional strength trainer, and that is what my personal training business is on. And like the more science and studies that we see around, you know, anatomical movement and recovery and what supplements we should be taking. And I think, you know, health and longevity and safety and ease and injury prevention, like that is just like where my gut goes because that is what will be around forever. Right. I think at the end of the day, well, yeah, or should be, yes. You know, strength training is king, period. And right now, I think we're seeing this like huge uptick in heated Pilates and hot yoga and all of these like trending things. And it's fun to like, you know, dabble and see what we're learning and what we're not. But at the end of the day, I just always go back to strength. I always go back to weightlifting. That's kind of also my sacred space. And teaching, I think I've now also stepped into this role where a lot of women are coming to me and the comment is not, I want to lose weight or, hey, I want to look better or, hey, I want to get skin. It is, I want to get fucking strong. And that to me, again, like gives me full body chills is that I'm the woman that they're looking at, that they're like, I can lift weights. That's a bad bitch. Like I want to lift weights with her, but they want to learn. And any modality that is going to bring me a human being that wants to learn why they're moving, how they're moving, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, like that shit is like, and the group fitness side. So personal training, you can have that one-on-one. It's such a detailed, you know, attention. But the group fitness, there's just something about community and belonging and having a space that like we're all in it together. That like today I could have cried teaching my classes. This is so emotional, but like just to have a space where like there's 50 people in that room that have come to hang out with me and listen to me. And like that to me still is so humbling and so crazy. And I do have a moment of imposter syndromes, you know, and I'm like, I put in so much fucking time and effort. Of course these people want to hang out with me. I'm cool as shit. But I'm also like, wow. You know, but it's not just about me. It's stepping into that studio and looking next to you and, oh, hey, John, how's your uncle? Or, oh my God, how was your vacation? It's like, we as human beings, I think there's this like very big misconception that you have to be alone. And that's what's the strongest thing, is being alone. And that was a very hard lesson I had to learn. Like, I can only go so far. Like, I can't do any of my career without other human beings. So I'm not even sure if I've answered the question at this point, but I really love human beings. And anything to do with them is for me.
Yeah, no, it's very important too, because it's the whole basis of this started off just getting people at least more hip to health and wellness and fitness and what some of the non-negotiables are. But as this has evolved over about the last year now, is really diving into community and just how important that is. We've kind of struggled with that. Every person can't be an island thing, because everyone oftentimes is like, just put your head down and grind. You should be able to make it work.
Right.
But at the end of the day, everything is all who you know and who you can make connections with. And that's not to be opportunistic, but it's just to do share a pursuit and grow collectively. But I can also say from personal experience, in South Florida, communities don't exist, period. It's only snaky, single lane drive. Anyone will say or do anything to keep themselves moving forward and everyone behind them. And it took me, unfortunately, almost 35, 36, even more years than that to find that very same sensibility, that like it really is who the people you surround yourself with that is going to lead to your success collectively.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but Miley Cyrus, they just posted an interview with Miley Cyrus, and she's basically, they're talking about like her and Beyonce, and she's like, secure people don't compete with other people. Secure people stay in their lane, and they can be so powerful together because they can cheer each other on and continue to rise. And that secure people don't compete. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And that's the best. And I think that's what's really hard in our industry, is that, I mean, in any industry, obviously, that there are people that are so secure ourselves and other people that are so insecure. And that's where community really struggles, because it doesn't feel loyal or natural or organic, you know?
The glue doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah. And that's hard. It's hard to navigate.
So, switching to our next topic, if you don't mind. So, to say that you balance a lot is an understatement. We have trainer, instructor, consultant, model, wife, and a mom, 2 pets, especially Mr. Tennessee. Has experience and wisdom allowed you to control this chaos like a well-oiled machine, or do you prefer things just handled dynamically as needed?
I think that my word for the past few years in having expanded my business and teaching and consulting now in Nashville has been intention. And, you know, I could sit here and say, yeah, everything is super balanced, but like, that's not true. And that's not being a human. You know, we all ebb and flows, and I still hit burnout once a quarter. And every time I get there, I'm like, God damn it. I know exactly what this is, and I could have prevented it. You know, your body hits that fever and you're like, do I have the flu, or do I have to sleep for 24 hours? Fuck. But
the answer is yes.
Right. But it just goes back to intention, right? Every single thing I do, I have to put intention behind it, or why am I doing it? Right. So as far as like my career and my relationships, like I know that at the end of the day, the only thing I ever want to do is show up for other people. But if I do not show up for myself first, as cheesy as it is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So being as intentional with the things that are so important to me, you know, my personal training business, at the end of the day, that is where the majority of my income is. That is where the majority of my energy goes. Teaching group fitness, consulting, right? Any sort of, you know, influencer partnerships that I or my cat have usually fall towards the end. But I don't want to say that I have it down to a science, because again, that burnout shit still happens. But I have been very, very intentional about where my energy goes when I'm starting to fizzle out, or if I'm not sure about what's next, or, you know, intention is kind of the word of the season.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's really important, and I really appreciate you sharing the honesty of like burning out, because I think a lot of people will hear a list like yours that you shared and just like not appreciate the walls that you mentioned that you ran into, right? And
Yeah.
like got fucking clotheslined from.
No, literally.
And then right. And then on the other side, like still operating in that kind of headspace and the type of like personality it seems like you have, because I've known you for like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There's like this, people will latch on to the idea like, oh, I want what she's describing so bad, without recognizing like how much fucking work it is, and that it probably will burn you out in some way, shape, or form somewhere along the line. So like this idea of this perfectly balanced CEO life that wakes up and does the fucking water bowl of ice and yada, like, is such a bullshit nonsense thing. And some days you have like, you just fucking crush it. And maybe some weeks, like all the stars are lined up, everything scheduled is ahead of time and blah, blah, blah. The flight's taking off, all the things are right. But like inevitably the things go wrong. And I think I really appreciate you acknowledging the reality of like, yeah, you're doing so many awesome things, but it is very costly. Like it's not chill.
No, oh my God, it's so costly. And that makes me think like boundaries is another huge word that, my husband is in tech, he's in software sales. So we have completely different jobs. And I am someone that like, after I have a shit ton of clients or after I teach classes, I need to sit in a dark space in silence for like at least 30 minutes. And like, and when I get home, my husband's like, hey, do you want to go do something? I have a golden retriever husband. I'm the black cat and love this man so much, but I have to be like, babe, please. But like that boundary is me filling my cup up before I can go anywhere else. And the other boundary, yes, I run a successful business. Like I would lose my fucking mind if I responded to every single one of my clients at all hours of the day. And I think this is the last couple of years that I've gotten better about this, because when you are trying to grow something like this, you have to work all the fucking time, even when you don't want to, even when you don't have energy. And sure, am I still doing that sometimes? Yes, I'm only 34 years old. This is only beginning. But my relationship with my business has gotten so much healthier because I can say, okay, bitch, it's Friday night at 9 p.m. I love you. I will talk to you on Sunday. Like, you want to move your session? Why are you texting me at this time? Have some respect. And I say that my clients are my family, but like 2 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, like one eye open, like joint in my hand, like, yeah, sure. Like Tuesday at 7 a.m. and like fuck it up, but now I can look at it and give myself the grace that says, this does not need your attention or the urgency that you feel right now. And that has been one of the most powerful things for me as a business owner, and just like to keep a sane human being, boundaries in my business, and like and communicating what I need, because how could I be angry at my husband for not knowing that I need to be in the darkness and silence if I don't tell him that first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
very real, very, very real.
Yeah. All right. What else you got for me?
All right. Well, you did say joint in hand. So you represent a platform of pro cannabis, especially regarding your health and wellness. Can you take us kind of through the eureka moment, what was the initial light bulb for you? And for those who may not understand the benefits and use cases, expand on the largest positive effects that you observed.
Yeah, totally. I've always loved cannabis. My whole family is a big advocate for cannabis, and I didn't always have such a healthy relationship with it. So I will leave the details for another day, but I didn't have a super great childhood, and I will say it took a lot of violence to be this soft. And I have really bad insomnia and really bad night terrors, and sleep has just never been a strong suit of mine. And we all know that sleep is quite literally the most important thing that our body needs. So I started relying on edibles pretty heavily to sleep through the night. And, the dosage was getting out of control. And then I became restless and I was getting anxious. And I had this kind of like literally one day moment of like, oh my God, I am now using marijuana to avoid my life as opposed to enjoy my life. And so I stopped doing edibles for a while and I started smoking, and I was only using it when I was happy or I wanted to enrich something or make it better, not to like run away or distract or, oh my God, I'm feeling so overwhelmed. This is insane. Like, in that way. But then I started to realize I am someone, and again, we're just meeting, but here we are. I am very hyper analytical and hyper aware and type A, just control freak to the max. And gardening, marijuana, whatever you will, is my tool to just lighten the grip that I'm fucking white knuckling the steering wheel of life on, and letting me just like float a little freer and be a little easier. And when it comes to fitness, again, being a fitness professional, I can't walk into a gym without ping pong, ping pong. What's that person doing? Can I help them? What's that exercise? And yoga specifically is such a like outer body experience that when I was starting to learn how to teach yoga, I lost my practice altogether when I would walk into the studio because I'm listening for the cueing. I'm memorizing the sequence. I'm looking around at the bodies. And I just was so distracted because there's so much going on around me. So, that shift of learning how to use marijuana to turn down the dial of intensity on everything else and turn up the dial on me. Like, I'll smoke a joint before I go lift or before I go to yoga, and I'm the only person there. Like, there's nobody else around me, and again, realizing the shift of when I am falling back into the old pattern of like smoking all day, if I'm like having a shitty week or something, it's like, whoa, I need to pull back. I need to relax. So my rule of thumb is really, I use marijuana to elevate and enjoy my life as opposed to avoid or disassociate or run away. And that has been like the most powerful thing that I could have done.
That's dope.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. This might be, you can tell me if this is too much of a question, but in terms of your platform and people reaching out, like just in snippets of things that you've shared, how open and real your like representation of yourself is online feels very true to like interacting with you. So I would imagine that people like reach out to you regarding their own usage and things like that, or struggles and things like that. And so what you describe is a really lovely mantra of like, elevating, not like avoiding. But how do you help somebody else reconcile that? Because I come from a family of like addicts and intense drug stuff. And so like, how do you help somebody who's might be really good at manipulating the narrative and being like, no, this is elevating, or this is right. Like, obviously it's not your place to like coach them, but I'm sure you get this question. So I'm just curious, like,
yes. That's an awesome question. And full disclosure, I am someone that I do not offer any sort of opinion or recommendation on anything unless I fucking know it like the back of my hand. And I get questions all the time. And the thing about Instagram or social media, when strangers DM you, is that they want you to spoon feed them the exact answer. They want the exact strain. They want exactly where they buy it. They want exact milligrams. And like, even if I was a cannabis expert, I still don't fucking know the answer to that question. So anytime I get any questions about personal usage, I say, I'm so sorry. This is completely out of my wheelhouse. This is only my experience. I can only share what I have learned. I implore you to go to a dispensary and talk to a bud tender and ask them, period. So I take a very hands-off approach to that.
Yeah, smart.
I think you actually put something that needs to be more offered to the forefront and have people understand, because we are in this super fast paced trying to absorb as many things as silver bullet solutions as possible on the internet.
Yeah, totally.
That everyone, and I think we've all experienced this, much to your point, is someone comes right to you, you're like, oh, how did you do that? What's the exact recipe? I want that. And everyone needs to understand that every result is atypically unique to that person.
Correct.
You could put every single program, every single diet recommendation, and it's going to be completely different based on lifestyle circumstances, genetics, all of that. So like, you can get someone looking in the right direction, but no one can have the same exact experience or the same results as you in that pursuit, much like anything else that we have to prescribe to our clients. So that's a really good call out.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%.
I have a question that just sort of popped up off the cuff. In terms of like formal education and things in that space, I'm really curious like what things you've done schooling wise. I know you said you went for music. Yeah.
Yeah, I in the cannabis space or in the fitness space?
In fitness.
Oh yeah. Yes, I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. And then
yeah.
I got my NASM shortly after that. And then because I worked in a boutique fitness gym, we did so many certifications. So like we did TRX, kettlebells came there, CSCS, all of that stuff. Like we kind of housed all of the studying for all of that. And then our gym would pay a portion of our certification. So it's so interesting that you asked that. I would love to ask you guys this question. Coming here, I don't know if it's because I'm independent, I'm not working out of like a boutique gym or whatever, where in New York, everybody was on continued education. Like we did trainings and workshops and shit every single weekend. And I haven't really noticed that here.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, if you want to lead.
Because people don't want to look.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm listening. No, I'm just curious, like, as why that is.
I don't know that I know the answer to that, but I think part of my question for you, which I do want to circle back to, after this is related to this, and I think part of the struggle in this space, especially as you get into more clinically related things or like just bigger problems, clients coming in with tears or breaks or whatever thing that's like, oh fuck, wait a second, do I know what to do here? What can I do here? What am I legally allowed to say? What blah 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 blah. I think part of the struggle is that in Tennessee there is not a legal requirement to be a personal trainer under any type of certification. So like I am technically not certified. Sure. I would put myself up against physical therapists and feel confident with my whatever, right? So, but I'm like an outlier there, and so I think when you shine the light on that, it's like, hey guys, like you see the roaches sort of come out. It's like fuck. Now I'm going to be tested. I'm going to right. So I think there's a component of it that puts people in front of themselves, and they have to now answer things that they might not know the answer to, and that's a bad feeling.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting you say that. I mean, I have met many trainers here that aren't like necessarily certified, but have been in the past or have been training for 10 years. And like, yes, I been certified in a million fucking things? Are those all expired? Of course. Do I like recert on my NASM? It's actually so interesting you bring this up because when I first moved here, I have a fucking plethora of like my insurance, my liability waiver, my certifications. And I'm like ready to give these packets out to all these gyms I train out of. And they're like, oh, we don't need anything.
Right.
And not that I feel validated by those papers because like all I'm doing is studying on a test. It has nothing to do with actual application. But what do you mean no one here is certified in anything? Like I'll never forget, and this is so terrible and I can't believe I'm about to say this online, but my test to see if like a group fitness instructor, and not that I need to hold them at such a high caliber, but I'll say I have a tear in my labrum. And if they don't say, is it in your hip or your shoulder? I'm like, okay, cool. Moving on. You know, I have a labral tear.
It's a low hanging fruit question, but if you only think it's in your shoulder and also not in your hip, it's a problem. I think another problem is we talk about this too, like in several different iterations, is because everything in Nashville is in its infancy. Everything is first generation. So there is not, we're now just getting to gyms coming here and opening up from other locations that are legacy institutions. But Nashville has just been figuring it out. When I moved here from South Florida, I was just aghast because in South Florida, you have 4 gyms on every corner.
Yeah. Oh my God. New York, every single block has at least 10 and they're high caliber, like boutique.
Right.
There's also no strength gym. There's not really like strength. I mean, this is a whole other conversation, you guys.
For sure. Yeah, but we dive into it pretty often. But it's just when I came here, there was like 3 gyms. Like there wasn't even like an LA Fitness. There was like a PF in Rivergate, like forever ago. Like
what year did you come here, Daniel?
2018. Okay. End of 2017.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my, it's not even an LA Fitness or anything. So I think Nashville in its ways that everything is so grassroots and single generation gyms and processes and standard operating procedures haven't really been developed yet. I think in time it will be, and especially now that more and more sites are set on Nashville as a premier location or trying to be, we'll be importing newer, higher end. I say higher end, but like at least legacy facilities that have multiple generations in their portfolio to then set up standard operating procedures. And I think that will eventually turn the tide for a little bit more scrutiny with who's working under the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I might have to just open my own roof. You know what I'm saying? But
respect.
I get it. Part of the earlier question was off of something that you had said in terms of like imposter syndrome, and it sort of ties into all of the educational differences and discrepancies between people. Like, do you at this point still have that little blip voice show up in a way that makes you feel like you don't know enough, or is like what does it say?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was in New York City, I had two of the most incredible mentors, and they still are my mentors, but we don't get to like be together and work together in a gym. And I, back then felt like I was learning something every single day and that I was the smallest fish in the pond. And they were both professional dancers. I mean, they traveled the world with this incredible company called Pilabolus, and I mean, like made the most incredible shapes. And Christine is a massage therapist, Derek had a training business, whatever, but again, and I mean this in the most humble way, the rooms that I'm in right now, I'm on the smarter side. So I don't feel like I'm learning anything new or like growing in a sense of like my training knowledge or my knowledge of the body. Like, yes, of course, I'm like looking at bodies all day, but I haven't been in a room with other fitness professionals that have, taught me a different way to do this, or let's look at this foot, or, and I mean, in New York, we get opportunities to go to workshops for like a new shoe, and we literally are like studying feet and and there's just so much education that I think the imposter syndrome comes in, because it's like, I haven't done anything like that in so long that it feels like, yes, I'm very smart. Yes, I've been doing this a long time, but we have to keep learning. We have to continue education. Like bodies change, science changes, things change. And the imposter syndrome, I think, comes in because I'm just like, and I don't want to say I'm going through the motions, but it's like, I know a lunge like the fucking back of my hand, a lunge. It's this. And I'm like, I miss that. I miss that camaraderie of other like trainers that also just want to elevate and learn and be smarter and more educated. And I'm missing that here.
Sure. Yeah, and because unless you have friction, you're not growing realistically at the end of the day.
Correct.
So it does feel like you're asleep at the wheel in a way. And I think it also just speaks to Nashville's infancy, because unfortunately there really is nothing cutting edge here yet.
No, it's a little uninspirational, and I'm trying to be the inspiration for myself. Which is also still a great time, but I do just like miss that. What I hate most about New York is what I love most about New York. And it's that like hustle culture of competitive energy of like, everybody wants to be the best. And I think, again, I'm not here to like trash the Nashville fitness scene. I love some of my best friends work in this, but the bar is sometimes set so low and these people are getting paid pennies. What's the initiative to want to learn more or to be better or to grow when you're getting paid $35 an hour? It's a rock and a hard place, but yeah.
So what do you, we've been asking this question to pretty much everybody that we discuss any of this stuff with, and I'm curious your thoughts on it. Like what needs to happen? Part of me thinks that there's almost nothing that can be done, and it is literally a matter of like maturation and like time, and it's just like, hey, we got to just keep doing the things we're doing. But do you feel like there's clearly more business coming here, there's clearly more people coming here, that steady drip has never really stopped in the last, I don't know, 14 years probably. And so like that's helpful, but what other things would facilitate that type of like, hey guys, like every quarter, you, me, Daniel, Molly, and Zach, and Jason, and all these people and names, and Elena from whoever, all these people that are like, no, I want more. Like, does something like that need to be made? Like what, you know?
Yeah, man, I don't know. That's a great question. I think I agree with you. I think it's just time. I mean, even in like the short amount we came in 2020, seeing like that strip on Division in the Gulch that's like solid core, P-Vol, pure sweat, that like that shit went up overnight. The Equinox is going to open in the Bill Voorhees building. I will be curious to see how that changes the trajectory of things and what their trainers are looking like. I mean, there's also a ton more hot Pilates and yoga studios that are slotted to open within the next 6 months. I think just time. I think just time. And again, us big city kids are going to keep moving down to these southern states and bringing the hustle and bringing the higher caliber energy and education, and we'll see. I think we'll see. I think this fall, I think will be incredibly pivotal in group fitness just because of all of the studios that are opening.
Do you feel optimistic about it?
I do. I feel optimistic about the community side of things and fitness and health becoming more of a lifestyle in Nashville. I don't know that I feel optimistic about the caliber of instruction or trainer, but I do think it has now started to become a little bit more of a social. And again, I hate to keep going back to New York City. That's just where I come from. That's where I, compared to all of this stuff, it's a very social thing to like go to a workout class on a Saturday morning, then go get a juice and then go about your day. Here, everything is kind of revolved around drinking, and like, I love to drink more than the next person, but it's not a social thing as much as it should be. And I think the more of these like cutesy, Instagrammable, boutique-y, girly things are going to open up, it's going to open that door to way more community, and hopefully Pilates won't be so cunty anymore.
Fair. Love that. So, I mean, it's a perfect segue into rounding out one of our last questions.
Yeah.
So you're excited about the state of camaraderie and community post this fall. You think that's going to be a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Would you agree that the women's population seem to have more figured out in terms of banding together and building fitness communities together?
I don't know that women necessarily have it more figured out. I just think we beat you guys on the numbers.
Fair.
I just think that there are way more women like group fitness instructors, and so more women are taking their classes, and so it just is easier to build that way. And like, yeah, maybe women are like better at being social and like making friends with someone than like man-to-man relationships. I'm not sure about that, but I just think we have you beat on the numbers. I mean, even in like I take a lot of classes in a lot of studios. I love this lifestyle and this, again, community. All right, enough, Bianca. And there's not that many male instructors, even outside of the yoga space. Like, it's primarily women dominated.
How many males do you work with, or do you only work with women, or what's?
I train the majority. I will start with the wives for a long time, and then I get the husbands. So I would say I have probably 25% of my client base is male. But as a group fitness instructor, I try to open and make everything very, very like open for everybody. I have pretty high number of male class goers compared to some of the other people that I've worked with.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Do you think there's a intensity component that will like draw men in more stereotypically, like that? Or
I mean, I've always tried to teach like I'm teaching to athletes, regardless of your age, or if you're a male or a female, or I just am under the opinion that anybody can be an athlete if you move your body. And I think that also draws people in. And like I'm kind of one of the bros, so I feel like that kind of draws people in. And I don't know, it's a compliment to me when I can like have some like really masculine dudes, especially like in a yoga class that is like predominantly female, women dominated. It feels good. It's a good space to be in.
That's dope.
Yeah, love it. Good stuff.
All right, Bianca, we have a signature podcast question for you.
Okay, and I what is it? Making me nervous because it wasn't in the tag.
No.
No, it's
not that I'm not prepared for anything you have to throw at me, but
it's about as chill as it gets.
Okay, great.
You have one idyllic day, no obligations, no prior commitments, completely day to yourself. no distractions. Where is it going to be? Anywhere on earth. And how are you taking your coffee?
Wow. Okay, this is a loaded question and my brain is going two places. I love water. Ocean, pool, lake, anything. And being on the water is like my ideal day. So obviously not setting an alarm. We all wake up probably 4:30, 4:45. Not setting an alarm. Probably wake up at like a cool 6:30. If I could sleep until 8, that would
splurge.
be ideal. Smoke a fat bowl. I love Nespresso, you guys. They have this like white chocolate strawberry. And I'm not even like a frilly coffee girl. It's a very like, normal coffee. It just like has a teeny tiny little bit of that. Love a good Chobani creamer. Birthday cake is my favorite one.
All right.
And then I think being on the water. My parents have a boat in Ohio, and like being on the lake and just like floating on a floaty or laying in the boat or water skiing, just some fun in the sun, few icy cold ranch waters and some sandwiches with chips in them, call me. I'm just from the Midwest after all, you guys.
That's dope. That sounds like a great day.
Fucking love it.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
No, that was a great question, you guys.
Dope. Well,
this
Bianca,
was so fun.
Thank you. I know. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And you're an absolute badass, a huge inspiration across the board. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
Wow.
Bianca,
thank you.
Where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, my Instagram, my entire brand is Bianca Page Fit. My email, my website, my YouTube, my Spotify, my Instagram, Bianca Page Fit, BiancaPaigefit, forever and always. And T's TikTok is King Tennessee.
That's awesome.
Fuck yeah, can't forget.
Yeah, well, signing off with the furry, long, and sick. Thank you so much, Bianca.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
That was good.